What if the biggest thing standing between you and an abundant life isn't your circumstances, but your thinking? What if the stress, comparison, and constant feeling that there's not enough isn't actually real, but something our minds have learned to believe? This month on Proactive is the Way, we're exploring the scarcity mindset, why we develop it, how it shows up in our daily lives, and how we can move beyond survival and into expansion. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Proactive is the Way. Did you miss me? Well, I'm back to kick off a new series, Beyond Survival, choosing abundance over the illusion of scarcity. This month, we're diving into a pattern I see many people struggle with daily: developing or living with a scarcity mindset. In trying to understand the origin of it, I realize that much of it comes down to our thought process and how we interpret our life circumstances. In entrepreneurship and honestly in life, I've noticed competition, information hoarding, and even a bit of elitism that all stem from one quiet belief: there isn't enough, or I am not enough. Somewhere along the way, survival replaced collaboration, support began to feel like weakness, and life started to resemble a competition rather than a shared journey. But the truth is, we all have the potential to live a life filled with peace, fulfillment, love, and joy. And when we learn to get out of our own way, that possibility becomes much more accessible. So, I wanted to better understand why we do this and, more importantly, how we overcome it. That search led me to our featured book for the month, Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. Now, this concept isn't entirely new. In many Eastern traditions, particularly Buddhist teachings, there's a focus on observing your thoughts rather than attaching to them, allowing them to pass and creating space for a state of flow. I was first introduced to this idea while studying meditation, and as many of you know, I've been very open about the fact that meditating has been very challenging for me. The idea of simply observing my thoughts without engaging them was something I struggled to understand. But this book helped bring some clarity. Joseph explains how scarcity is created in the mind and how, regardless of your past, your circumstances, or your mistakes, you are still capable of living an abundant life. The real invitation in this book is to challenge the thinking patterns that keep us small and shift our level of consciousness so we can access the abundance that's already available to us. The goal: to move us beyond survival and into expansion. Now, one concept in the book that really made me pause was the difference between thoughts and thinking. And I'm going to be honest, that one took me a minute. Personally, I feel like I'm always thinking. I'm constantly analyzing something. So I remember asking myself, what exactly is this man talking about? Who can stop thinking? Then I remembered something from years ago. I used to ask my ex husband, "What are you thinking?" And he would say, "Nothing." And I used to think, this must be a man thing. Like, how do you have no thoughts? But what I realized later is that he did have thoughts, he just wasn't thinking about them. So, to really understand this idea, I decided to experiment with it. I've been working on a project for several months, and during that time, I noticed that I often entered a state of flow. I would have a thought, research it, act on it, and move forward without constantly analyzing every step. And that's when it clicked for me. As Joseph explains, we all have thoughts, but when we move beyond simple awareness and start ruminating, self sabotaging, or engaging in negative reflection, we create mental patterns that pull us out of peace and into unnecessary suffering. That distinction really helped me to begin to understand the message in this book. Now, Joseph goes even deeper, breaking down the difference between thoughts and thinking in a way that becomes much easier to digest. And naturally, as you explore these ideas, questions will come up. For example, will not thinking make me less productive? Or what about positive thinking? Or how could we possibly function without thinking? Trust me, it's not what you think. Joseph addresses these questions and provides practical ways to begin stepping out of your own way and recognizing that you are enough and there is enough, ultimately guiding us toward a life filled with peace, fulfillment, love, and joy. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. It challenged my perspective and encouraged me to continue evolving into the best version of myself for this moment in time. Now, I am still working through some of these ideas, and I'm not completely bought in on every point, but I absolutely appreciate Joseph's courage in presenting such a powerful concept. Join Tiffany and I in 2 weeks as we dive deeper into this book and share how these ideas are showing up in our own lives. To prepare for the conversation, grab a copy of Don't Believe Everything You Think. Details are in the description. For access to all replays and to learn more about Kinky Knots Cafe's Proactive is the Way, please visit us on all major social networking and podcasting platforms. Stay proactive, my friends. Take good care.